So, do I think disabled people are represented well in film? Um, I'm gonna have to say with a flat out no.
Strong no for me.
No, not really. I think, there is some representation, but there isn't enough.
It ends up being exactly the opposite. I feel like deeply not represented.
Certain narratives tend to be told about disabled people. Some so the two typical stereotypes are the disabled person who people tend to pity, who they feel sorry for, and then the second stereotype tends to be somebody who kind of overcomes the disability.
There's a lot of different things in cinema in particular that add to the portrayal of it. Like lighting can be a big thing. So if you have dark lighting or lighting that brings a menacing outlook to someone with a psychiatric disorder, then you perpetuate a kind of antagonistic view of mental health.
The first scene that comes to mind, it's from this film called Stronger, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, who plays this character who's been in some sort of accident, and they've had to have both their legs removed from, I think, the knee down or something. So there's this big scene where he overcomes his disability. So he walks from a car using prosthetic legs towards this woman who he really likes.
This is not intended when it was written, but Winnie the Pooh is a really good example of good mental health representation. And it's just fan speculation and just kind of a joke. And like you have Piglet with GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. You have Kanga with social anxiety, Rabbit with OCD, Eeyore with depressive disorder, Tigger with ADHD, and Owl with dyslexia. And I think if you view it in that kind of lens, with the disabled lens, and you're giving media critique and evaluation on like Winnie the Pooh, it's a very simple and basic example. And you look at how the characters are portrayed and their situations and how their characters develop every single episode and every single book that they're in, and every single deviation and aspects of what they are, you start to see a very positive representation there. The characters have a problem. All of them help each other through that to figure out that problem, and they aren't seen as lesser.
How can somebody who isn't disabled play a disabled role?
Whenever people play disabled characters, that's very problematic because, first of all, they don't have the lived experience. I think it would be very beneficial to have people who've actually lived those experiences, telling those stories right from the start, like the writers, the producers, to the directors, to the people who are portraying those roles, because then we can avoid like things like the whole CEO situation.
There has been, some remarks from Sia saying, disabled people aren't good actors.
Is that we can't find any good ones, or we can't find any that are like developed enough or something like that. And it's like, I don't understand how you cannot recognize that being able to develop as an actor or an artist of any stripe is itself a huge measure of privilege, right? So like, develop those actors, develop those people. And in the course of that, you'd be engaging with them and learning more about them and their stories and the representation that you would be creating. And it would just get easier, right? It would stop being stories that are about us, but not like really, because they don't include us at all.
And you forget about the unintended consequences of your writing. And when you focus on all that, you miss the forest for the trees. And what I advise people to do is to focus on the aftermath of all that. Don't show the negative aspect. Don't show the already stigmatized aspects. Focus on that secondary audience, the disabled audience, the minorities. Focus on their experiences. And similarly with how you write and how you engage with popular portrayals in the media, you do what you must to adapt, and you keep persisting like water flowing through a river.
Disabled people have the same desires, the same. They're just like you. The difference is that, like I said before, we never get the world differently. Some of us have to use wheelchairs, and some of us communicate in different ways, but down to the core, we're just the same.